Hello and welcome to the Chatty Corner, where we talk about our experiences as a modern Hmong American woman.
Today, you're listening to episode 5 of our podcast.
My name is Passion, I'm the hostess.
My name is Bachia, and I am the co-host.
So, new year, new me. I know that's such an old, like, trendy saying that everyone kept saying. But it's never too late to change yourself, and the best time to do it is now. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about some old New Year resolutions, failed resolutions, and finally some new ones for 2022. So I know that a lot of people are on a different side of this because, like I mentioned, it's like a trend, right? And people are saying, why are you going to wait till the new year to start one when you could be working on it right now? And I just want to ask you, like, how do you feel about that? Because I kind of have mixed feelings with it.
I actually like the idea of New Year resolutions because it's never too late to start new ones, especially on a new year, because I feel that everyone, like, new years are like important. Like, that's how I feel, because it's kind of like a fresh start, and I think everyone kind of wants that fresh start, even though yes, time does go on and the next day doesn't change you. But the idea that, like, you're gonna have a second chance or an infinite chance of, like, starting something over, like, gives you more motivation, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that new year, like, resolution gives you that extra boost of motivation, even though, okay, it's another day, but then it's also like, okay, let me try it again. So it gives people, that initiative.
Yeah, and I think that I from what I've heard, there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, it's so funny when, like, at the beginning of the first week in January, there's hella people at the gym, and then it's like, and then at the end of the year there's like nobody. But I was like, why are you, like, hating on these people for actually just trying at least, And I mean, like, all I gotta say is that things happen every day in your life, and maybe people just kind of have to stop working out or stopping, I guess, their whatever goal that they were trying to reach, because, like, things happen and you just have to kind of come back to that again. You know what I'm saying? And I know that keeping up on something, especially to create new habits, is really, really hard. And to be honest with you, I used to be that sour person to be really like, oh, like, New Year's resolution, like, boo-hoo, like, what, you're like a new person now because the New Year's resolution came? But it's like not entirely, because it's like people, like you said, are just motivated now because it is a new, like, page. It is a new it's a new time, I guess, to just kind of feel like the encouragement of, like, okay, like, let's do things different this time. I mean, there's 365 days. I mean, like, imagine 365 pages in a book. You have so many times to rewrite your own path. And
they say that the biggest, like, indicator of happiness in someone's life is, like, how much they've changed and how much growth they've, like, had. Yeah. Because people are generally happier when they constantly, like, strive to be a better person, whether it's on a bigger scale or, like, a smaller scale, like, everyday life, like, oh, I'm gonna wash my plate after I'm done eating, like, that's, like, pretty important, but it matters a lot.
And it really comes down to, like, humans are meant to make mistakes and learn from them, and it's like, and that's just, if you don't fail, how are you gonna succeed? And I know how cliche that is, but it's like, I know everyone in this world, it can't just be me and Pachia, to really be failing and falling off the grid because, like, you just got caught up in, like, family stuff. Maybe your health was the problem, so you had to, like, maybe go away from doing your bullet journal, like, your daily bullet journals, but you couldn't because you were busy with other stuff. You know what I mean? I know some people have that as a goal. I did, actually, in during 2020 when COVID happened. I was like, okay, if I'm not doing anything, then I'm definitely gonna be writing more in my journal, because that is my only thing I can do while being in lockdown, right? Didn't obviously finish it, I think, because I went to school and I was like, I don't have time for it, whatever, it's not important. So yeah, things like that. I think it's like people need to understand that we can't. Here's the thing, it's almost the same thing as we need to understand that people change, and not, I guess, like, everyone's a hypocrite, I would say. And, like, we can't really always count on people for the words they say or their actions that they did, because they could be feeling something different the next day, or, you know, let's say the day after, a week after, a month after, a year after. I guess to me, it's like, if you don't change, there's something wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like, change happens because you're going through different phases in your life. And that's how I like to look at this New Year's resolution. Instead of being sour and being like, you know, like, there's too many damn people at the gym, or there's like all of a sudden, like, we're like missing some, like, there's not enough salads in the store because everyone thinks they're eating salad being healthy now. You know, it's kind of like that. But it's like, who cares? You know, like, I feel like we live in such a privileged world that we act like spoiled Americans.
Yeah, like, oh my God, too many people. I'm like, honestly, I went to the gym yesterday night and it was like pretty empty, and I was like, where's all the New Year people?
Yeah,
but it's all in your head. Like, there's really not that many new people coming.
But Jay goes, oh, I kind of miss the people. What happened?
I know. I'm like, what happened? Did everyone get sick from COVID? Like, what the heck?
Oh, yeah, especially with the Omicron, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, now that with that going around, and for those who haven't been vaccinated,
hands off.
I'm telling you, I'm surprised you're still alive. Like, I'm really am, because I'm like, you go out a lot. I was like, wow.
I know, and I'm like, I finally caught it around Christmas time. You know, the TikTok's going around, and I'm like, damn, dude, I almost made it.
I was actually very surprised that my boyfriend and I didn't get it, because we were both sick around that time too. Like, where with the, like, during Christmas and New Year's, we were both sick. We took the test and stuff like that, and we still came out negative. And I was like, I swear, the test is broken. Because we were coughing, we were like sneezing, we were extra tired. And it's like, no, everyone's saying that there was also another common cold that kept coming as well. And on top of that, like, there's COVID, right? So people are like extra cautious. And believe it or not, Justin actually tried going to the drugstores, and he ran out
of all I heard tests. Of the supply.
Yeah, so... that's so crazy. Well, with all the resolutions, we obviously have some poor ones and failed ones. So I want us to kind of, you know, talk about our embarrassing stories of our old New Year resolutions. Did we succeed or did we fail? What do you think, Richard?
I think in the past, I set very high expectations for myself.
Yeah,
because
same.
I didn't know any better. You know, it was like a checklist. Like, my whole year, I'm going to focus on this. But I made like stupid ones in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and give a few examples. Like, well, here's the ones I made in 2020 before I knew that COVID was gonna happen.
Oh gosh, I know, girl.
And like, some of them were like really like basic ones. I feel like very important basic goals, like find my passion, because like I did not know what I was doing in 2020. Mm-hmm. I was like, what the hell? Why am I alive? And I think I still haven't found it. Like, that's a really big goal, you know.
It really is. Yeah, it's a lifelong goal, so don't feel rushed.
Yeah, and so things like that, like, if you make a New Year's resolution, it may be for life, you know. And I wanted, like, to travel. Obviously, everyone wants to travel.
Oh yes,
I've done traveling, not to my like favorite places or the ones I want to go to, like overseas, like to Asia, but I've done a lot of traveling, and I'm happy with that.
And I'm jealous. I'm like, it's going to SoCal and Mexico. Damn it, I want to go.
You need to come to my wedding.
I know. Oh, that's a little sneak peek on some other level, guys.
Oh, they'll hear about it in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you guys will hear in about a couple weeks.
And like reading like 20 books and stuff like that, but I never really got around to reading books. Because it was, like, an idea that I had, but I just never really, like... Okay, I was, like, depressed half of, like, 2020. All of 2020.
I think everyone was. In some type of, like, level. Because it's kind of like people were depressed in, like, really, like, failed relationships. People were depressed because they had to stay home. Especially for all those extroverts out there, right? It was really hard for us. And then it's, like, people lost their jobs. People lost family members. Oh, yeah, there's a whole spectrum.
Yeah. So definitely 2020 was hard, but I mean, I feel like I made like really general goals, and so I didn't feel bad about not completing any one of them, because it's like, how are you gonna find your passion in just 1 year?
In a whole year, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Some other ones I had the next year, or last year actually, was like to live as presently as possible. Like, that one's really Like, for me, I tend to make really general goals. But I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because how are you gonna...
You said present, right?
Yeah.
I love that. I think everyone needs that. Yeah. So I had to repeat it because I'm like, you said present, right? Like, I think a lot of people actually, I feel like people need to put that on there. You know
everyone, I think put it on your list.
Everyone needs to put it on there. That's why I have to repeat it, because it's like, we forget that. We stress about future. We stress about past, but we just need to be grounded. Yeah. I really like that. Damn. But yeah, 2020.
Dude, for real. It's been a journey since I've been making New Year's resolutions. I think I've been making them. My first year was actually in I don't know. I've made them, but I've never really written them down, right? And so I think a lot of people have this idea of like New Year's resolution, and they make it, but then I feel like when you write it down on paper, it just like
feels official.
Yeah, like I have to do it now.
Tattoo to your heart.
Yeah. And so I started writing it down in 2020, and like that's when I started like really like seeing it every day, making me be like, okay, that's what I wanted to do at the beginning of the year. Like reflect back, is this something I still want to do? If not, like for example, I wanted to learn Spanish, right? And bro, it's like, yeah, not really. Like every year it's a goal of mine to learn Spanish.
And
like more
and you got yourself a Mexican boyfriend, so like you don't have an excuse now.
I know, exactly. Like I legit don't have an excuse now.
Yeah.
But that one's definitely a big failure of mine.
Yeah.
I think going to the gym also is like everyone's goal.
Has always been mine and been failed.
I do it like every 3 months. Like I'm consistent for 3 months, and then I fall off for the rest of the year. Like it doesn't even have to be in January. Like if I start in the middle of the year, I go for 3 months and I stop.
I get it. Yeah. Damn, at least you go for 3 months, because for me it's like I'll go for like every single day for 2 weeks, right? And it's like one hangout, one family, barbecue or something, or me going out to the clubs, with some friends or whatever, throws me off.
I think it has to do with kind of like beating yourself up for not being on track.
Yeah.
Or not following a set schedule. Because like I feel like for me in the past, like if I didn't follow a set schedule, like, and I went out, did something like that was totally out of the blue, I'd be like, fuck, I have to start over. But like reality is just pick it up where you left it.
Yeah, because I feel like I did a really good job at one point in my college years, and I went I went to a school trip in Oakland. I was okay, that hotel has a gym, I'm gonna go to it. Went to go check out the gym. So many people in there. I was like, I could take a break. I think I'll be okay. I never like, even if the trip was over and I came back home and everything, I never caught up with it. Yeah.
That one moment, just you're that like, one moment. Just give up.
Yeah. And I think that's what I have the most fear, is that once I take that one break, I feel like I would never be able to bounce back again. Yeah. And I have that huge, like, one of my bad habits is like, once I like pause on a habit that I'm trying to make it to a habit, like it like falls apart, when really it's okay to rest and then come back at it again. And it's not starting back at one, it's continuing from where you left off.
I think a really good resolution that people should have this year is to have something that will make you build your perseverance. Because for me, like I had really bad like perseverance or commitment issues. Like I hate doing something long term. I hate doing something consistently. I hate it. But
it gets boring.
Yeah, it gets boring. Yeah. And then for me, like going to the gym a couple years ago, I think I've been like consistently on and off like going to the gym for about 2.5 years now. And when I first started, like I would fall off every like 2 weeks. But then I started learning that if I can build my perseverance through training, because during a set you have to like really do it all, right?
Yeah.
And it's the hardest thing ever to do the same thing over and over, right?
Yeah.
And finish your complete workout. But every single day, if you go and complete your workout, like you're building that perseverance every day.
And you're talking about like when you go and you have like a set plan, right? Okay. all you actually mentioned something that you said earlier. I forgot what it was, but it brought me back to one of my failed New Year resolutions. Oh, I forgot. It had to deal with dang it. I think it was one of your old ones. You want to read your list again? Maybe it might click back.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll live presently.
Uh-huh.
The Spanish one, the books. Where's my list? Hold on, I gotta find my list.
I think there's one more. I think there's one. I think it might be that.
Find my passion, stay healthy, build relationships, pay off debt.
I think it might have been the passion one, like looking for what you love to do. So, when you said that, I it kind of dinged in my head about when I graduated Butte College, right? And I was like, okay, I know sure as hell I don't want to be a teacher. I sure as hell like don't want nothing to do about like teaching someone about education anymore. Education in ways of I don't want to teach you math or English or history, right? Or science. I actually want to teach you about the mind. So it's not really necessarily like education wise, but those in the basics areas, right? Where you're still in grade school. And when I went to Chico State, and this is the ones I have failed, and I still fail to this day. Like I said, finding your passion is a journey, and it doesn't happen over 365 days, nights. So I remember going, like, I think you would know, like I told you, like, I people ask you all the time, like, oh, like, are you in school? Like, what are you going to school for? I'm like, oh, yeah, psychology. Okay, and what job? Therapy? Maybe? Yeah. And then people go on with, and then like, a couple months later on, I changed my major already. Someone comes and asks me, oh, like, what's your major now? I'm like, oh, multicultural gender studies. Oh, what's that? Like, what is that going into? I'm like, oh, you know, like, you talk about diversity and, like, this, and, like, how society, and, like, with people of color and blah, 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 right? And, like, LGBTQ community and stuff. And the people are just, like, really confused because it's, like, what does that benefit you? Like, not benefit you, but, like, how does that benefit, like, money-wise, right? With your career and stuff like that. How do you make money from that? And I'm just kind of like, I don't know. And I think that put me in such a stuck area because even if I'm a really strong believer of, like, I don't choose a career based on the money. I choose a career based off, like, what I love to do, right? A lot of people would disagree on that. And a lot of adults, like, in their late 30s or whatever, would say, trust me, that's good intentions, but it's not going to help you, you know? And it's sad to say because I think the older I get, the more I see that now. And I don't know if that's because, like, people's feeding their mindset to me, or if that's probably just the reality of it because you have bills to pay, you have to survive somehow, and money is what helps you survive, right? And I think which just comes to my New Year's resolution this year is I want to start a business, but I don't know what, right? Like, I know I want to be my own businesswoman, but what? And I know that I wanted to surround it by women, and I think that's like when I showed you my New Year's resolution is like, you see the women at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's because those are different, like, women of color who come together, and it says boss bitch because I want to do a business surrounding that, but I don't know what it is. It could be the fashion, makeup, jewelry, anything, but I want it to be based off of where if I were to make my own business, I'm definitely put the content of there's gonna be a whole bunch of, like, a wide variety of women on there. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. And I feel like just talking about, like, the whole business idea, it's gonna be something, you know, you're definitely passionate in, and that's, again, like, finding that passion.
It really is. And, like, and another thing too, I didn't put it on there, but it is kind of on there, but so if you guys look at the post, because we will be posting this, is you see that my post has an iPod. It looks like an iPod, and there's, like, music notes. So that's two things. It represents two things. And I didn't want to put a dancer on there because it would look tacky, because they didn't have really good stickers for where I built this from. So I put that I want to dance again. I haven't made a choreography. I haven't, and if you guys don't know, I have been dancing almost my whole life, and ever since COVID happened, I stopped dancing. And even if everything got uplifted now and I have every chance to go back, I don't, because I don't have the confidence to go back anymore. And it's really sad because it's like, one thing, I'm known as Passion who hip-hops, who dances, right? And I'm not anymore because I don't do that. And when I was younger, I feared this the most, is you're going to grow up and you're going to forget dance because you're going to be so busy, you're not going to have time for it. Like every other person that you saw that graduated high school. I tried to hold on to it so hard when I was in college, and then I actually graduated, college, and I was like, okay, I'm going to work for the African American Culture Center and help my friends who work there and teach kids, because that's what I have a strong passion about, and maybe I can use that to move and put my name out there and actually create a name for myself, and maybe have a studio in a small town where it doesn't get a lot of opportunities, right? And so I, for one, that was literally my goal for 2020. Of course, it crashed because of all the lockdown and stuff like that, and I haven't danced since. And so I want to bring that back again in 2022, where I want to step out there in my creativity and dancing again. But it's so hard because I tried creating choreography again, and people who dance, they know how hard it is, because you really try to be basically original, right? And very authentic, because when you're that, you've done stuff that people have never done, and that's what makes you stand out in the dance community. I couldn't do it. I was struggling. I was literally just doing choreography that I've seen and I've done before, and I was just so numb in my body that I was like, okay, maybe this isn't for me. And and I had a hard time accepting it, and I don't think I am gonna accept that I can't do it anymore, because I know I still have that in me. Like, come on, like, I'm passionate who can dance.
You definitely do. Yeah. It's gonna take, again, the perseverance and consistency.
It really is.
The key words for 2022.
I can definitely be a dance coach for sure, but as a dance coach, choreography though. You know what I mean? You're the ones who teach that. And so, that was one of the things on there. And also, I put that iPod as a representative of me pushing this podcast even more forward and being serious about it. Where I wanted to actually fix my room to be a podcast studio room, since I have my own room to myself. And so I would have a little space in the corner where I can have actually the lights set up, the stand set up, all the chairs, and just the whole background and all that fancy amazing stuff that we see, so we can start recording instead of doing all these audios. Guys, trust me, we really want to do videos, but we just don't have the luxury for that. And
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. And so I want to do that, and especially if I have the privilege to have my own room to myself and have the space, I knew that I have to make it happen, so that at least it'll be easier for you and for me. And it's I don't have to always wait for my boyfriend to pick me up to get here. And at least I will have the space that's at least bigger, because it's just me. Because you and Alex share a room, right? And it's you guys sleep together, you have all your stuff together, so and I don't want to take up your whole living room, so in case you do have guests, we won't bother them, kick them out or whatever. And your house is small, so it's at least I can do that for us, so yeah,
that'd be sweet. You start recording.
I know, I'm excited, and hint, if y'all just keep in touch, we have a little surprise on one of our biggest milestone episodes, so it would come through.
I'm excited for the decoration of that one.
Me too.
For last year, I did a lot of my resolutions. So again, I was reading it out, and then some other ones are gaining photography skills. I was super into photography. I still am, not as much right now, because I like to do a variety of things. My main career is engineering, and then I like to just do everything, because I'm only living once, right?
YOLO. You do everything.
Yeah.
Trust me.
So I want to do this year, on a big I've broken it down. I've done so many resolutions that I now break it down. So on a bigger scale, definitely getting married, planning the whole marriage thing.
Yes.
Never thought I was going to be doing that in 2022. Okay, I was like, I'm going to write this down because I'm forget.
Like, maybe 2025, but not in 2022.
Yeah, not in 2022. Definitely graduating from school this year, and I'm hoping to get like an internship. Hoping to get an internship this summer, and those are like the big, like really big.
Those are the big ones, but also ones I know you'll get it. Like, you'll get it done. Those are for sure things. There's some goals where you're like, it can fall off easily, but these are like, you'll reach it.
Yeah, I'm hoping I do. I've set more. Like I said, I used to set really unrealistic goals in the past, right? Like before 2020. But now, like, I've broken it down to, okay, these are like my actual goals. Like, my resolutions are now like things I'm currently working on, right? And like on a smaller scale, like I want to start working out and stretching every day, and try, like, if I don't go to the gym, like at least stretch, because like even stretching is like good for your body. And then I want to start focusing on writing, and so I've been getting back into like writing. And you know how like Mr. Brown used to make us do journal prompts every day? I started that again. So I'm writing a journal prompt every day, just to like start practicing my writing.
I hate doing this because when I look back, I'm like, cringe.
I've never read them again.
No,
yeah,
you have to, because it's so cringy.
I don't even think I have them anymore. That's
well, okay,
so
I don't have them anymore now either, because ever since, but I read it just recently, like maybe 2019. That's how recent it was I read it, because I recently got a bunk bed for our room, so I had to take my whole drawer out that had just random high school shit, like old binders and stuff. I freaking read it, girl. I was like, who the fuck I was crushing on? It was like, yeah, I was like walking through the hallway and I walked past him on purpose, but he didn't even notice me. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, no.
Who the heck were you talking about? Apparently, we did not date this person, because I was single my whole 4 years of my life. So it's like, this person ain't shit. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Because I had Mr. Brown when I was a sophomore. And come on, it's been so long.
It's been a while.
It's been so long. So I was like, I don't even know who the heck this person was. And I had a lot of little crushes. Like, there was a lot of like, this guy's cute. This guy's cute, But it wasn't really like I was a diehard. I chose one person. Like, I was never that person. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm doing that again, because one of my life goals is to like release a book, like. Ooh, yeah, like ever since I was a little kid, I don't know, I want to write either like fiction or like a poetry book. So like I just recently started collecting all my pieces I write, and a lot of them are about like being Hmong American. And so I'm thinking it's gonna be something about being Hmong American. So I'm really excited, because like I want to do a small, by the end of the year, release, like whether it's online or have it published or anything, like I want to have a small collection of my work just like there.
I like that.
I'm definitely working really hard on that, as well as reading. Like, I'm really getting back into reading, because like Alex is such a huge supporter of anything I do, and so I feel like I can be myself. Yeah. And he like doesn't stop me, because I've been reading for like 3 days straight, and he's just like, okay, yeah, you do your thing, And so. And
this is why this bitch don't reply back to me.
I'm so sorry. I've been reading.
Hey, but yeah, blah, 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 blah. And it takes her like hours to reply back to me, which is not a problem. I just felt like she don't love me.
No. I was like, oh, Passion's probably gonna think that like I'm like purposely not replying back.
Yeah, I was like, okay, there's something wrong.
No, I finished like 3 like 500-page books.
Dude, that's hella good. High five, dude.
I'm like, it's starting off a really good year.
Okay, so I put that too. That's what this book page is on the background.
Oh,
okay.
I see.
Because I really do believe when you read, you're smarter. Like, you get smarter, new vocabs in your head. You have a better imagination. And I think it's great to. It's like taking a break to get lost in another world, right? Just to kind of like, it's, if you think about it, it's almost like as if like you're allowed, like, for a person who talks a lot, it's good to take a break to just listen for once. And I think that's what reading is like, right? It's like it's not really listening, but it's not really talking. It's almost as if it's like you're exercising some type of sense, right? Which is your brain. And
like your imagination, for sure.
And you're exercising your brain, getting more wrinkles in your brain, which is a good thing. And it's like, I've been wanting to do it, but I get so fucking bored. I read it and I like my eyes starts getting sore.
You gotta get the dramatic books, like the romance.
Do you have those?
I have a few I could lend you.
Do you have any recommendations for the people that are listening to us?
I just finished Pachinko. You know, like the autocorrect book? The fucking word that, like...
When I put Pachinko, it comes up Pachinko?
Yeah, that. It's actually a really good book. It's, like, one of the top New York bestsellers. And it's...
It explains why kids autocorrecting, too.
Yeah. It's been on my list for a long time, but I finally read it, and I finished it yesterday. And it's based on the 1910s to the 1989 during the Japanese invasion in Korea. And it gives you like a whole story of like 4 generations worth of trauma, basically, is what it is.
Is that gonna give me nightmares?
I don't think it's gonna be a good book for you because
it's really heavy, huh?
Really heavy. Okay, it's
maybe
so
not.
Dense. Like my head was like hurting by the time I was done.
I'm definitely just.
I'm gonna give you something. I'm gonna give you the one I just finished, On the Come Up. It's about like social injustice, racism. And
ooh, okay.
I think you'll like it. Have you seen The Hate You Give, the movie?
Yes.
It's the same author.
Bitch, when I fucking watched that movie, I cried.
It was so good.
With that girl named Star, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I have the book too if you want it for The Hate You Give. But
I don't know. Okay, so I have this thing where I hate reading books that a movie was built on because I keep thinking about the movie.
The movie?
Yeah,
I read it before I watched the movie.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay.
My first time ever that I was like, oh my god, the movie was just as good as the book. Because the author writes in a way where you imagine it as a movie. So I think it's going to be great for you.
Okay.
Because you love movies.
Yeah, I'm definitely
the way she writes, you'll think exactly like how a movie progresses. And so I'll give you that one to read. It's super good. It's the same concept. Basically, this girl wants to become a rapper, but you know how gang affiliation, they live in the ghetto, and discrimination in school where there's like security guards and like she gets like, do you want me to?
I think that's good. It really got me hooked.
Okay.
Yeah, it got me hooked. No, I want to read something. I want to read that because one of the things. Okay, so I've been trying to look for books that are about the mind of a psychopath and like murder killers and stuff like that. So like, just get me excited. Like, what's next? So I've been...
a lot of thrillers. I have a book.
I wanted to.
You might like because it's about she got kidnapped and it gives you like a scene to scene like play out of the kidnapping.
Don't give me Lovely Bones though. I've
never read that.
My sister read it. She said that it traumatized her because the movie blankly just tells it, but the book obviously has a heavier detail.
Lovely Bones? Is it on Netflix?
It used to be, but it's not anymore because Netflix filters out their stuff. And so it is the one where she got kidnapped and her parents are trying to look for her, and she showed herself as a ghost where she was in limbo and she was trying to figure out how she died.
I've never seen it, or I've never read it either.
It's a really traumatizing movie in my opinion because as a kid, this is stuff that your mother tells you all the time is like be careful, and especially in our generation, in our grade school days, we walked home like it was nothing, what I mean, from the bus stop or from school, and I fear that the most because it's someone that was so close to her. It was their neighbor. And so...
You guys got a crazy neighbor, too.
And we have a crazy neighbor. Yeah, so it is something very scary. I think about it all the time, and I don't ever want this to wish upon anyone, boy or girl. It's so scary. And then especially if I have a little brother who's 5... like I think about it all the time where it's like I'm very protective of him because he's like my son technically, and when I never watched. I mean, I never read it, but my sister read it and she said that no, it was 10 times worse than the movie. Like meaning it was so heavy, so emotional, so traumatizing than the movie. Because the movie obviously is not gonna show you like rape. It's not gonna show you that, right? But it does show. Like she explained in the book what he did to her. And so I was like, oh my goodness, maybe I'm not gonna read that.
Not for the week.
Yeah, because I was
not
like,
for the week.
I was like, maybe I should read it. She was like, I know, I
read it for you, so you don't have to.
Yeah, because she didn't know it was gonna be like that either. And I was like, oh my god. But I would definitely read the one that you recommended, because I love that kind of stuff. Like,
I think you'll love it. It's
Yeah.
a really easy read. Really like, oh my god, I'm so mad, and like, oh my god, this is so cute.
Yeah,
you know how like a movie.
I like it when it's what do they call it? It's like when what is it, from rags to riches. I love things like that because it gives you hope, right? So and it explains a lot of like, no matter where you're going through, like, you'll make it kind
you
of thing.
should definitely check out a lot more like young adult books.
I think probably should. And probably my vocabulary surrounds that anyway.
Oh, no. It's just the storyline. It gives, because like young adult books give you more like hope. Like adult books are like,
they're dark.
Yeah. They're not fun to read. Like I read a lot of romance books from the young adult section because like they're so like,
it's just so sweet. Like
innocent love. Not like the adult ones where they start like hammering at each other. Like
I know, and
I can't.
And then so I did have a book that I really, really liked when I took this LGBTQ like class, and because it had a lot of drama in it, like like the dialogue was like, oh honey, like you're not the only person I'm with. I was like, oh damn, I was like,
tell me more,
tell us
who's
more.
the other guy?
No, I kept reading. I actually read ahead before past the class. The teacher didn't mind, at least that when we come to class, at least we know what we'll be discussing. But man, I read ahead, and I never do because I'm just not that person. I just don't. And I went ahead and I was like, it was so juicy. I knew the characters. I knew, like, it just got me so hooked, And then, when you come to class, when you read a book and you come to class and the teacher asks you, like, how do you describe, like, the character, whatever. When you have a group discussion, it's freaking amazing. And I was like, ever since then, like, I've never fell in love with a class in my life because I was so on top of it. Not just also too because I was in lockdown during that time and I got COVID. Well, I didn't catch COVID, but my sister had COVID, so we were locked into a room together. Right. So no one was bothering me for the first 2 weeks of school. I was on top of my shit, dude. Like I never loved school so much until that happened to me. It was worth the flat ass, like, hurt backaches.
Oh my god, I feel that after this semester.
Because I didn't have a setup, a desk or anything during that time. I just had a box and a pillow under my butt, and I just put the laptop on the box. Like, that's literally all I had.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I sleep on top bunk, so it's not like I can do my homework and stuff on my bed. Yeah. So but I've never I just feel so zoned in, and I think that brings up to my new resolution is actually, be stuck on something, because I feel like I caught myself last year in 2021 all over the place. I was crocheting. I was like, all of a sudden I was like doing just a whole bunch of hobbies. Like I was all of a sudden like into like clay making. I mean, I've always been, but I kind of like, it just came back to me, and then I was like into like drawing again, and then I was into like myself being like a wannabe, like I guess like writing lyrics or whatever. I mean, when you didn't tell me that. When you have a lot of feelings, you kind of want to just like write it down, and you feel like, oh shit, this kind of matches beat. Let's see how it like weighs out.
You'll love the book. There's rap lyrics in there.
Well, I wasn't like rapping. Like it was just like melodies and hooks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people who are just bored, and when they made melody and hooks, like music artists actually buy from them. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like, well, shit. I was like,
let me try.
And I realized like I was just like all over the place, but I think that's, again, it was a sign of me actually trying to find my passion. Like I was actually physically
dipping your toes here and there.
Yeah, like I was just trying it out, and then of course some stuck and some didn't, and like to me the crocheting definitely stuck because I love the finished product, even though like I'm so stressed when I'm doing it because it's like it's just so time consuming. I want to be done already, and then there are times where I'm like, oh, this might be like a good like business thing or something in the future and stuff like that. So I'm still thinking about that, but then, you know, everything costs money, and so it does have to deal with, I want to be stuck on one thing for once, like just one thing, and to really call it as, this is me. Like, I want to be attached to something that says, like, this is passion for sure, you know. And I think I had a hard time doing that, and that's why I was also investing things. I remember before the podcast, like, we were having a conversation about what I was thinking of buying for the podcast and stuff like that, and what else do I need to get. And then I think that, honestly, just saying that now, like, I think this might be something that I might be call it myself.
Definitely.
I mean, hopefully with all the views and stuff.
You're so, like, passionate about this. When we started, I'm like, passionate. You're doing everything. I'm just gonna be here recording, all right? Like, you're like, yeah, I got it. I'm like, thank goodness. Because, like, this is definitely more of your thing, you know? Like, I'm more of, like, I want to edit.
And yeah, but I need you though. Like, you know, she's if you guys don't know, like, she's definitely the technology person in the background for me, because I don't know how to do none of that stuff, and so there is gonna be a day where she does have to teach me how to do it, because if you guys haven't noticed, there was a time where it's like, we didn't really post because Patricia was on her break, which is not a problem, by the way. Like, you needed it. She just, like, she had a whole stressful finals week, but for me, I was hopeless. I was like,
You're like, this is what I had planned.
That's the, I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I was like I could be editing it, because I was doing nothing. I could be editing it, so I felt really helpless, and I was like, shit. There needs to be a workshop day where Patricia needs to sit down with me and, like, download some stuff, how to, like, play with it and stuff like that, and it's basic stuff. Like, I realize that it's just basic stuff, but I don't have that stuff, you know what I mean, like the tools and stuff like that. So
yeah, you don't have an introduction to it.
I don't, so
I definitely got you. I mean, I think we both have a lot more resolutions, but we'll definitely post it up and our, like, vision.
Well, I am really happy that we got to talk about this New Year resolution, because you know, it's never too late to do things and to change yourself, and definitely changing habits, because that's what we do. We're human beings. We are trying to become better. So we are very excited to release this episode to you guys all, because we know it's been a while, and we hope to see you in our next one. Bye.